Alright, today this will be a review of the Manitowoc 4100W ringer. Here we have the instruction guide, which this was my first big crawler crane, and I think it could have been a little bit more detailed. But it's enough, with a little bit of common sense and thinking, you can pretty much figure out everything. So it's about 10 pages, I think, 10 or 12 pages. And it tells you pretty much everything you need to know. The next thing that it came with was this little, what looks like a sales brochure for the actual crane. On this side it's just got the picture of it set up with 300 foot of boom, lifting 103 tons at an 83 foot radius, which is a cool picture. And on this side, not like a super technical load chart, but just comparing it to 4100, 4000 ringer, and the 4100 ringer, and just some other little stuff about the crane, benefits of it. And then the only other literature that came with it is this, and it's just the instruction guide on how to install the ladder, which my ladder came just a little bit bent, so I have to get pliers and bend it back into shape. That's why it's not on my crane right now. But my guess is this just, they forgot to put it in the main book, so they just printed it on here. Now, I ordered this crane through diecastmodels.co when they were having a really good sale, beginning of 2013, where if you spent $350, you got the 4100 along with the extension kit, which I'll get into in a minute, for free. It's a great deal considering I think the crane itself cost right about $350. I know the regular 4100, just the regular crawler version, costs about $350 right now. So it was a deal I could not pass up. So I got this in along with $350 worth of other models. So I'm going to show you the packaging. The box it came in, very nice. It's a real high quality printing on there. I mean, I'd like to display the box, except it's a little big. But it looks nice, and then this is just the box for the extension kit. It comes in it packed, in there. And it just has a tray that slides out with all the pieces in it. Let me go into some of these other little bits and pieces right here. Some of the things I found very helpful when assembling the model. It comes with this screwdriver right here, which says Manitowoc on it, which is cool that it comes with its own tool. But some things I found, and it also came with, this is a little screw cover for the very bottom of the crane where the screw attaches, and I'll get into that in a minute. Bag of hardware, extra little screws and pins. This had just some of these other stuff, and then this is a single line hook block, which I'm going to end up putting on once I put on the jib that came with the extension kit. I found it helpful to have some tape especially when I was working on some of that and moving this stuff around. I found it very useful to put some tape over these to stop stuff from jumping. Flashlight was pretty useful just for, it was nighttime most of the time when I was putting it together, so just found it useful, especially trying to just look at how things were lined up, and I had a slight little problem, but I'll get into that later. And then just some pliers for holding pins and stuff. And I just stole this from my sword and first year models to help, especially with reeving the hook block. I'm going to talk briefly right now about the extension kit. When you get the extension kit, you're going to get 5 40-foot boom pieces, the other one's right here, a 40-foot backmast and a 20-foot backmast. There is actually a difference between the backmast. The backmast is more square, where the boom section is slightly rectangular. So there is a difference between the two, and you also get a 40-foot jib section, which you can mount on just to the lifting tip. Just goes on there right like that. It'll screw in. You get the assembly guide. which it's really straightforward. You just attach this 140-foot pennant line section came out of it just because it only comes with one section with the base crane, and I thought it looked better just with an extra section in there, so I put an extra section in it. Otherwise this would be all the way up here. But basically all you do is just attach these and screw in the boom sections and you're basically good to go. Slightly more complicated with the back mast because you have to take these off, these lines right here off and replace them. And it comes with the back mast lines and the pennant lines, and you got a bunch of them right there. But it comes with all the hardware you need to do that right there, just a bag of real small screws. And I'll show you guys briefly this right here. It's basically just very similar to the main instruction guide, and it just shows you how to assemble it all. It only shows you how to configure it for the full length of extension, but really you can do it in any configuration. Just add or subtract the appropriate number of boom pieces. Now that covers pretty much everything you get with the extension kit and the base crane model. Now I'm going to go into some detail. Right here we have the two keys. This key back here controls the angle of your boom. Controls this drum back here, which controls all that, which raise and lower your boom. And then this drum right here will control your hook lock. And I'm not sure if I reeved it correctly down here, but I sent it down and around those pulleys there. But I thought it looked good that way. You have a number of opening compartments. One right here, which has a small winch line in there. Doesn't really do anything. And then you have this opening panel right here, which I find is pretty cool. And you can see some of like the engines and winches and stuff. I'm not a crane expert by any means, but looks pretty cool in there. And then we also have the keyhole right here for this other drum right here. I was looking in the instruction guide, and this is the one part I didn't follow the instructions on. It wanted you to reeve it so it starts on this drum and ends on that drum, but I don't know if I was reading it right or what, because I didn't do that. I just tied it off on the top. But I'm going to end up getting more line and using this for the single sheave once I put the jib on it. But I have to get more line first, because mine didn't come with any line on that one, and I think they all come that way, but I'm not positive. Back here we have the counterweights right here. These are the cheek weights, or not the cheek weights, but the stacking weights that are on the normal 4100s. It doesn't come with the actual cheek weights because you have this bar right here, so there's no room for that. But those slide on. I had one little problem with mine, where right in here, where this connects to the car body, something was just not quite lined up, so I had to grind off just a little bit of the connection. It still works perfectly fine, but just needed to shave it down a little bit. So after I did that, I didn't really have any other problems with this model, except for one I caused myself when I tangled that up, because it does come pre-done. This will just be like taped down to this part of the boom, and it comes pre-done and ready to go, unless you're like me and you decide to completely mess it all up. And it was a nightmare. Took like an hour and a half to get it sorted back out. I did a real good job messing it up. But anyways, so you have these lines right here which connect from the back counterweight tray up to the back mast. And this entire back tray, it pins on up here to the main crane, and then it sits on its own roller on the ringer. So it is kind of suspended there. It's not suspended, it is sitting on the ringer, but the way it's set up, it would be suspended. Came with 6 of these weights, which are pretty cool. They could be a bit heavier if you ask me. You have two different types. They both have the holes in the bottom to interconnect, but three of them don't, so they look nicer when you stack them. I think it looks great with the stack of two, but I wouldn't be opposed to having more, just to add more weight, so you could actually lift more with the model. Other detail, you have real nice etched work right here. The paint job on it's great. You have the pads down here, and something I'd like to note is that these tracks roll perfectly. There is not a single problem with these tracks. These are probably the nicest tracks I've ever seen on any model, and for the price they really should be. But no, these tracks, if every manufacturer could make their tracks this nice, it would be amazing. I'd also like to point out some of the detail in the little signs down there. The decals are real clear and real crisp, and they look real nice. You have some lines that go down, and they're detailed hydraulic lines. And I believe these do spin out lower, that you could actually like jack it up, but I just have it sitting here right now, so I don't have them all like down as low as they can go. Now I'm going to rotate the entire crane here without hitting myself in the head with the boom. And on this side, we have the cab. The cab has a sliding door, and you can see the operator's seat and some of the joystick controls. A fairly detailed cab. Again, you have all the decals right there. They look great. The etch work was continued, and this plate right here, where your radiator would be right behind this, is etched through. Your muffler's right here. And just the rest of your counterweights here. Again, it's a very well detailed model, and it looks great. The paint's good, all that, so I'm very happy with it. Back here, you have your pulleys that just come up from the winch drum, controls the boom angle. You have your A-frame structure. And then up here, I'm not sure what this is called, but it has some line in here. This line doesn't do anything. It's just there for looks, but I find that it's not very tight, and that it kind of jumped off all these. So I haven't really taken the time to put those back on, but I'm sure once you put them back on the sheaves, it would look real nice. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. Again, you have these lines right here, which kind of divert weight down and back to the counterweights from the boom. And if you come up here, you can see you have the pulleys up here to just basically bend your line over to going up to the bridle. And then you have your support straps that hold all the line. It looks real nice. Then you have the back mast, and you have the supports for the back mast here. These are like cylinders. I don't get why you would have cylinders in this instance on the actual crane, because there's really no place for this to go, because it just mounts directly in there. So I'm not sure why you'd actually have a cylinder there, but it's there, and it looks nice. You just they're very loose cylinders. They come right out, so you just put them in when you're assembling it. Up here you have your pulleys, and the pulleys, this is actually one piece of rope, and it goes back, like either end is in the pulley. So that's interesting. So it does actually, right back here, it crosses over. So it's one piece. It's pretty cool. It's set up very nicely. I could never reeve that by myself. That'd be a nightmare to do. Like I said, if you get it tangled, it can become quite a nightmare in itself. But it looks great, especially once it's untangled and put back together. So it definitely looks great. I was saying, up here you have two little pulleys up there for the winch line. You have your big cylinders right here. These are just cylinders just like these ones. and they will extend out depending on what angle you have your boom at. And when you're assembling it, you just pin those in, and I believe these came pre-pinned onto the boom section, but you just slide them in when you're assembling it, and it's good to go. You have a pulley right here and a pulley right here to keep your line off of your boom when it's being pulled up and down. And right now, I want to come up here, and before I get to the hook block, you have the top of your pennant lines up here. There's 4 pennant lines that go down. I think one or two of mine right now might be shorter than the others, because it's not sitting quite equal, which is bothering me, but I'll get that figured out at some point once I open up the rest of those to put the extension kit in. I doubt I'll ever actually put in the full extension kit because I don't have a spot for it with the full extension kit, but I'll find them that are all evened out. Up here, you have all your pulleys up here, along with 2 separate tie-off points for your crane, if it wants to focus right there, for the hook block. And before I get into that, I want to mention the hook block right here. I really like this hook block. It's a 6-sheave block, and right now I only have 4 parts of line in it, and it's real nice. It's pretty heavy. I think it's great. With the actual hook, it swivels, and this little right here comes up, so, and it'll snap right into that little spot right there, if I can get it lined up. Yeah, just like that. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but this chain right here is just something I made up myself, and I'm just using it to hold this boom section, just so there was something hanging from it. But coming back up here, has some tie-off points right here. I'm not sure if those were designed to be tie-off points, but I'm using them as a tie-off. I guess if you're using it at lower angles, you can tie it off up here, because this these back parts of line will be closer to there. But I want to take this and move this to this one so it doesn't have this line crossing over it, so I just have to cut it and retie it. But and as I mentioned before, you have the spot to mount the 40-foot jib section up there, and you have your the old style Manitowoc logo. Looks really cool. And you also have some little points right here, and they're kind of on all the boom sections, but it also goes into it for mounting the top 40-foot jib. Once you put the extension kit on it, you use those to tie off more lines to, or to screw them into. And I believe that covers pretty much everything between the extension kit and the crane. If I missed anything, I'm going to try and put it in, and if not, you ask a question, just put it in the comments below or send me a message. I will definitely try to get back to you. If I missed that much, I'll make another video of it. But I think I covered pretty much everything. If you want to see the, or not the review, this is the review, the unboxing, you're going to want to take a look in the description. There's going to be part 1 and part 2. It was a relatively large unboxing, like I said, from diecastmodels.co, because this crane was free, and then I also had the other models. I had a Liebherr HS855, which is actually sitting right there, and a Liebherr loader and Liebherr R936 excavator. Nice models. Those reviews will be up shortly once I make them, probably right after this, but I may do, once I put the extension kit in it, I may do another video highlighting the extension kit once it's actually in the crane. But as it stands right now, I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing that, because I don't really want to take it apart right now, just to put the extension kit in it. But at some point I'm sure I will. And once I do, I'll make another video. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. and feel free to ask questions. So thanks for watching, guys.